Hey, what's up out there, guys? This one's going to be easy ACDC songs to play on guitar. My name is Mike B, and this is Campfire Guitar Style. So right before we dive into this lesson, head down to the description of this video, click on that link to get the tabs up in front of you. In this lesson, we're going to be covering two classic ACDC songs. We're first going to be diving into TNT, and then we're going to get into Dirty Deed. So let's just dive straight into it. Now, TNT is like one of the perfect first AC/DC songs to learn if you haven't learned it already. So let's just tear straight into this one here. There's kind of just two parts to it, a verse and a chorus. That's all you really got to do. So let's dive into the verse section. That's the first line in your PDF. And my left hand is on the first chord right here. That's all it is, just a little one finger power chord here. We got the open E string and our first finger on the second fret of the A. Now, that's the very first chord, and you want to just strum your E and A string. All right, that's the very first chord. Now, the next thing we're going to do here is we add our second finger to the third fret of the low E string. And then we go to the same chord as the first one, but one string down. So now we have the open A string and the second fret on the D string. So yeah, I want to strum the open A and the D there. And those are all the little things you need for this first line here. We got boom, boom, boom. And that's actually all the pieces we need right there. So let's do that a couple times. Just get that tight. Again. All right, perfect. The very first hit, we go boom, and then we pause. Now, the next part, we hit the 3 and then the open A power chord. And then we pause. So far we got E, 3, A, pause. All right, and then there's this one last little bit here, which is we go back to the 3, up to the A, and then back to the 3. So that last part again. So let me play through the whole line and take a close look at my left hand here. And that's the first line right there. So, you know this song pretty well, so just try to get that thing nailed. Really picture the song in your head. And let's jump over to the chorus. Here's what it sounds like. Alright, so again, we're going to start off with actually the same couple chords we had in the verse part, slightly different order. This one starts on the open A power chord, that is. So open A, second fret on the D string, and then we go to the 3 on the E, and then to the open E power chord, the same one as the very first chord in the song. So we got, and then we pause, and we do it 3 more times. And then we pause, and we do it 2 more times. The power low. And right in the song where he says, "Watch me explode," that's where we get this next part. It's a 1-finger G to a full A chord. So a 1-finger G is pretty easy. You just take your second finger, put it on the 3rd fret of the E string, let it naturally kind of, round down and mute the A string. It's going to be actually easier to mute the A string than to have it come through. So just undo that great technique you have and just let your left hand slouch a little bit so the A is muted and just strum straight through. And then we get a regular A chord next. I'm doing it as a 1-finger A. You could also do it as a 3-finger A. And that's all the pieces you need to get rocking on TNT right there. That's the verse and the chorus. Not too challenging. Now, what I would strongly recommend you guys do as soon as you got a bit of a handle on this is actually pull up the song on YouTube or whatever and start playing along. Now, the one thing you're going to find about this song is that in the studio, I think they decided to speed it up or slow it down in post-production. So what that means is it's a little bit out of pitch. It's like a little bit between, you know, half step down and standard tuning. So what I would actually suggest you do is pull up a live video of ACDC playing, because when they play it live, they're playing it just regular standard tuning. So if you play along to the studio version, everything you do is going to sound just a little bit out of tune. So pull up a live video, start jamming along. Well, let me know in the comments if you guys have any questions about that one, but I'm going to jump over to the next one of the day, which is going to be Dirty Deeds by ACDC. Here's what the first line sounds like right here. And we're going to learn something kind of cool here, known as the ACDC E chord. And it's actually conveniently the same chord we start off with here. Grab a regular E major for a second here. Like, this is my regular E major. Classic sounding chord. Now, with ACDC, sometimes, you know, what they do is they take a few notes out of chords, not to make them easier, but to make them sound better. Because that G sharp on the G string, or the note your first finger's on, can kind of muddy that chord up a little bit if you got some distortion or overdrive going, which you usually do when you're playing ACDC. So what they do, just to kind of fatten up that chord a little bit, is actually just take the first finger off, and then they slouch their third finger and second finger. So now my third finger is just lightly muting the G string. The B string and the high E string are still good to come through, but the G string is just muted. It's like, here's regular E, and I just take my first finger off, slouch down a little bit. And that's your ACDC E right there. If you give that a nice big punch in the right hand, it's a super satisfying, heavy sounding chord with those open strings in there. You're actually playing the same thing as the first chord in TNT, but we're doubling all those notes. Tripling some of them, actually. So that's your ACDC E that we're starting on here. Awesome chord to get into. So we got that one first. And we're going to come back to that chord after every other chord in the first line. So the next move we do is a one finger G. It's going to look like this right here. You get your third finger on the third fret of the low E, and then you just strum right through. That's all you need. So we get E, then we get the G, back to E, and then we go A to E. I'm just doing a regular A chord there, one finger or three, and back to your ACDC E. And then the very last one is your ACDC D to your ACDC E. And the ACDC D looks like this right here. It's just a regular D chord without the second finger. And once again, you just slouch the third finger a little bit so your high E string is muted. And then just like I was saying, you go back to the E after all those. So it's E. And then we go G, E, A, E, D, E, and back to the top. And that's the whole intro right there. We just loop that a few times through. Now let's jump down to the verse next here. So the verse sounds something like this. It's really easy, just two chords. And you let that one sustain. So let's learn the chord shapes first, and then we're going to do something to them, because that's the whole verse right there. It's just that. You go sustain, and then again. It almost sounds kind of boring when you're not playing along with the band, just these long pauses on there. So let's learn the chords first. We got power chord, 5th fret A string. So 5 on the A, and then third finger on the 7th fret of the D. Hit that once, and then we move it up 2 frets to 7 and 9. Then we let that one ring. Now what you might hear on the recording sometimes is they're not just going, they're going. There's kind of like a little punch in there. There's two ways you can get it. You can go like this. You can literally come in and punch the strings just like this. You just punch them like that, your pick lands above the string, so you can punch and then immediately strum. So that's one option. Or what you can also do, if you're into the chickas, you just lay your fingers off the strings to get them a little bit muted, and you go down and then engage the chord on an upstroke. So you get one more time. Those are your two options. You can either or punch. So there's a nice long sustain on these chords. Like you go high school band. Again. And you do it 3 times with those big long pauses. Then the last 4, you just take out a bit of the pause. You go. And that's it right there. So 3 times like this, a nice long pause, and 4 times with no pause. And again, if you put on the original song and start jamming along, it's going to be super obvious to you. It's almost easier to play that with the song than without the song. Next, we've got the chorus. It sounds something like this. And one of the reasons why I love going over this song with people is that the chords really follow the lyrics. So to nail the song, you really have to know like the melody line and the lyric line really well. Because we go, dirty deeds, done dirt cheap, dirty deeds, done dirt cheap, dirty deeds, done dirt cheap, dirty deeds. So you really have to follow that done dirt cheap. You get 3 strums on every syllable there. So we start on a regular A chord, dirty deeds. And then when they say done dirt cheap, you go A, 1 finger G, back to A. So that's dirty deeds, done dirt cheap. Then the next one is to that little ACDC E chord, and you go dirty deeds. And on this one you go E, D, E for the done dirt cheap. Done, dirt, cheap. And those are all ACDC chords, the E and the D. So that from the E again, dirty deeds, and done. From the E one more time, dirty deeds, done, dirt, cheap. And then the next line, we're just back to the A, same deal, dirty deeds, done, dirt, cheap. And then dirty deeds and the done, dirt, cheap. And you hold that E5 at that end, that ACDC E, and just let that thing ring. So let's go through the chorus one more time. So dirty deeds, done, dirt, cheap. And that's the whole chorus right there. So let me know if you guys have any questions at all on this song, rhythm, timing, technique, anything like that. Post them in the comments section. Definitely here to help you guys. And remember too, guys, if you're ever feeling like you need a bit more assistance, right now, as you're seeing me, we could connect just like this for a one-on-one lesson. We're kind of living in the future right now. I don't actually teach any in-person guitar lessons. I just teach people all over Europe, North America, Asia. So definitely let me know if you guys would like to connect for some one-on-one lessons. You can find some more information on that in the description of this video. Thanks a lot for watching. You guys have a great day or night wherever you are. Catch you in the next lesson.